Would I Lie to You, the unseen bits, Ruth Jones, Ronnie Corbett, Keely Hawes, John Bishop, Richard E. Grant, Jason Manford, Joanna Page, Stephen Mangan, Fern Britton, Patrick Keelty, Bernard Cribbins, and their team captain, David Mitchell. And facing them tonight, Jack D, Patsy Palmer, Martin Clunes, Julian Clary, Professor Brian Cox, Chris Addison, Sanjeev Bhaskar, Kevin Bridges, Deborah Meaden, Peter Serafinowicz, Holly Walsh, and their team captain, Lee Mack, and your host, Rob Brydon.
Brian, you're first. Please reveal all.
I once caused the Hadron Collider to be shut down after I spilt yoghurt in it.
Do you know what? I believe it already. David's team.
Paint the picture of a day working at the Collider.
Not literally, we'll be here all night.
What's the sort of access point of the Collider like? I'm imagining it's like a room with computers in. I don't imagine people are sort of wandering around the actual tube bit, finding a little corner to have lunch.
During construction, then, of course, you had to go in. And I was responsible for a bit that's about 420 metres from the point at which we create the Big Bangs. And so I was in there, and you test bits when it's all done. And I was in there in the morning, having my yoghurt. You're not supposed to... Swiss health and safety.
Chat up the ladies, doesn't it? That's what you're drinking.
Someone went past me on a bike, because you have to ride bikes or anything, and nudged my arm, and I spilt the yoghurt onto an electrical connection.
And this was during construction?
Yes. Well, during the testing of my piece.
So it didn't all have to be shut down, just a...
No, just an octant. We can shut it down in eighths.
Right.
And I think he knew what an octant was.
Yeah.
It's for you. It's for you.
Can I ask you a technical question?
Yeah.
What flavour was the yoghurt?
It was one of those Swiss, like, rather flavourless Swiss yoghurts.
So there are people in there on bikes.
Yeah, because it's 27 kilometres in circumference.
So they go around on bikes inside?
Yes.
Sounds like Centre Parks.
And you're sitting... Which part of it did you drop the yoghurt into or onto?
There are pieces called... I'm going to go into chat-up mode again now. Called superconducting cables. That, if you cool them down to about 1.9 Kelvin, so 1.9 degrees above absolute zero, then they become superconducting, have no electrical resistance and carry currents up to 13,000 amps in wires of a very small cross-section.
So in layman's terms, is it a wire?
Yeah.
Did you get yoghurt on a wire?
It's niobium tungsten alloy.
Sorry?
It's a niobium tungsten alloy.
I'm not saying it's not a brilliant wire.
As David well knows, because they're superconducting, they can
I might well know as well.
They can carry very high
flirting with each other. I know as well. Tell me, you bitch!
I'm very flattered by it, but, you know, I did history. You know, I know that Hitler's dead, and that's it.
And, Professor, how long was it closed down for?
About 3 months.
3 months? As a result of what you did?
We had to replace that piece of the machine.
Oh, my God.
That was
quite expensive.
How much do they reckon that cost?
That's why I'm on telly now trying to work off the debt. Why do you think I'm doing this?
I don't know.
I'm in Geneva if I had any respect left at all.
They said, get out there, whore yourself around. He's just come from hole in the wall.
Did you own up straight away, or did you say, he hit me, nudge me? On the bike.
I had sticky up hair and a completely sooty face. I couldn't deny it.
You went to fancy
Did you then take your goggles off?
Did you take them off and did you go, Marty, we gotta get to the DeLorean! So, David, let's take a guess. What do you think?
3 months, that's a big... I just wonder whether he'd be ready to bring it up on a comedy show.
So, with that in mind, what are you going to say?
I think it's a lie.
Well, I'm just in awe of the sciencey stuff. And if he says he dropped yoghurt on a wire, then he dropped yoghurt on a wire.
Is it a lie?
I think it's a lie.
I think it's a lie. You think it's true?
I think it's true. What can I say?
Well, let's be democratic and say it's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie. OK, Professor Brian Cox, is it the truth or were you telling a lie?
It was a lie.
Well done.
It was a lie. Right, Martin Clunes, you're up next.
Right. Sometimes I change the order in which I put my shoes and socks on to spice up my daily routine.
David's team.
Are we to take it that sometimes you put your shoes on first?
Of course not. What a silly question. No, of course I don't.
So what's the normal, then?
Which is normal. I like to mix it up, keep it fresh. To stop this thing becoming a drudgery because I have to do it every day. When I'm working, several times a day.
So,
Why
so
several
just-
times a day?
Well, a leading actor, I have to change my costume all day long. It drives me mad.
So when you're doing Doc Martin, you don't just stay in the one outfit all
I
day?
have at least 8 suits.
Martin, you don't need to change your socks every time, do you?
Oh, you're familiar with my feet, are you?
No? OK. I certainly am not.
So we're saying then, Martin, that you do that something just to spice things up.
Listen, well, look, you can either... You're presented with 2 pairs of feet, 2 shoes, 2 socks.
2 pairs of feet?
2 pairs of feet. Is that not the norm? 2 feet, 2 socks, 2 shoes.
Yeah.
They've all got to marry up at some point. So sometimes I'll put both socks on, then both shoes on. Or sometimes I'll put a sock on and then that shoe, and then that sock and then that shoe, just to stop myself going stale.
Well, do you know what I do sometimes? And then this is true. I sometimes
So
put
is
my
this.
socks on before I put my pants on. And I find that vaguely erotic. Because you're there, Fern, picture it. You're there with your long socks, in my case, with your socks on and nothing else on, just socks.
I'll tell you what I do. I sometimes nakedly put my tackle between my legs and pretend I'm a woman.
You should never put your socks on as a man without any trousers.
Really? Why?
Just don't. Look at yourself.
Have you ever done it?
I have once an early girlfriend, by which I don't mean she was a sort of cave person. She was one of the girlfriends I had earlier in my life. She said, never do that, and it stuck with me.
Really?
So this whole getting
like
dressed
it.
is quite awkward then. So what do you...
Not awkward.
No, I just want
It's
to hear
varied
from the
and-
beginning. No, because you've got to get your pants and your trousers on before the whole sock
Well, they've all got to go on at some point, haven't they?
What are you saying, David? Truth or lie?
Fern, you...
Oh, I'm going to say it's a lie.
Lie from Fern. David?
Well,
I think it's true.
Oh, you think it's true? Yeah, I thought it might be true. I'm going to say I think it's true.
OK. Martin Clunes, is it the truth or is it a lie?
It's absolutely true.
Our next round is called The Ring of Truth, in which I read out an amazing celebrity fact, and all our teams have to do is decide whether it's true or not. So both teams take a look at this.
She's not really spiteful, but she's a bit afraid now.
You see it there I'm drinking all right now?
Brandy, now stop it. Brandy, now stop it. Stop it.
Isn't she?
You've got to be careful.
Yeah.
Brandy.
Down here. That's it.
You're little Laura.
Did one of your researchers not got an update on Brandy to see how he is now?
Well, it was 15 years ago, I think we know.
We can live 25 years, cats.
You haven't seen him for 15 years, Julian, but he's here tonight. I actually like cats, Ron.
Oh,
That's-
yes, you like cats, but you're mime-smashing them.
Smashing a dangerous cat that posed a threat to our lovely audience. And one of Britain's
You
most
just like-
beloved comedians.
Stamp it again.
Here's the related fact, OK, related to cats for both teams. Noel Edmonds employs a pet chef once a week to cook a 3-course dinner for his cat. Is that true, both teams?
When they say a pet chef, that's presumably a
chef for pets.
A chef for pets.
Not a Jack Russell or a working Cocker Spaniel in a hat.
What are the courses in a cat three-course dinner?
Yeah, what's the menu?
I shall tell you. Yeah. I shall tell you.
Veal or no veal? I'm actually ashamed of myself. I feel quite sick.
If it gets run over, it's wheel or no wheel.
If the cat was a fishing enthusiast...
Shut up!
The cat is called Marmalade and is 3 years old. Marmalade's favourite meal is smoked salmon roll-ups, followed by...
What do you mean, roll-ups?
So these are roll-ups.
I'll tell you what, I was tripping off my face the other night, I'll tell you. At one point, I thought I was living with Noel Edmonds, honestly. I was off my tits.
Smoked salmon, followed by carpaccio of tuna with salted butter ice cream for afters. Sounds better in your... I was doing Ronnie.
Yeah. I thought you were.
On Marmalade's last birthday, the pet chef made a birthday cake in the shape of a Deal or No Deal box.
Oh, my
nice.
God.
Oh, come on. Well, you say in the shape of a deal or no? I mean, you mean a rectangular cake?
I think even I could stretch to that. Yes.
Well, here's my problem with it.
Yes.
Why only once a week?
Well, I'll tell you. He hires the pet chef one night over the weekend so his cat can enjoy a treat.
As a treat for my chickens. Maureen's been broody for weeks, and I haven't got a cockerel at the moment, for reasons I won't go into. Anyway, the other day, my neighbour found on the lawn an abandoned duck egg. So we've slipped the duck egg under Maureen, and in a few weeks' time, she'll hatch out a duck. Please don't touch me.
Sorry.
She'll be very upset,
Why?
When the duck hatches?
Well, she'll just think it's a chicken.
She'll know it's not a chicken. I'm with you. The shape of the mouth and everything.
Yeah. She'll be furious when she sees the bill.
Yes. Very good.
So let's take a guess then. I mean, which way are you heading here, Lee?
I think it's true.
You think it's true? Lee?
Yeah, I think it's true.
OK, we'll go for true.
Going with true. OK, David's team.
I don't think it's true.
No, have you met Noel Edmonds?
Yes, I met you, yes.
Has Ronnie Corbett met Noel Edmonds? Two bears.
Meet Noel Edmonds?
Of course, he's met everybody. Do you mean there's nobody he hasn't met? He's Ronnie Corbett. He probably met Elvis.
I thought it likely that Ronnie had met Noel Edmonds. It's not, you know,
I was on the house party a lot, wasn't I? Played the butler.
Yes, he played the butler on the house party. I mean, you insult the man. You insult the man. Why don't you ask him, were you ever in a famous double act with another man with a similar name? Unbelievable. And he loves you for it. Typical.
And yet, when I touch him, nothing.
Severity.
Right, what do you think?
I think it's a lie. Yeah.
You think it's a lie?
Yeah.
So, you think it's a lie?
I think it's a lie.
We think it's a lie.
You're saying you think it's a lie, right? You're saying you think it's true. Someone's going to be right. It is actually a lie. Yes, Noel Edmonds does not employ a pet chef once a week to cook a three-course dinner for his cat. That's the kind of thing a lunatic would do. But as it turns out, he doesn't. Which brings us to our final round, quick-fire lies, in which our panellists lie not only through their teeth, but also against the clock. And we're starting with... John Bishop.
Okay. I was asked to leave the cinema for crying too loudly.
Please, team, would you believe that?
What was the film?
Rocky.
Rocky?
Rocky, the first one.
Rocky. Which bit did you cry at?
I cried at the bit at the end.
Which bit is that?
When he looked like he was getting beaten, then he shouted age, and then it was all his dreams were encapsulated in that one moment. And, you know,
And you cried?
I've been through a lot, and so, yeah.
How old were you?
I would have been in my early 20s, and I had...
Whoa, slow that down. You were in your early 20s in 1977.
Was it 77? No, let me think.
Actually, I tell him, I think it was about 75, wasn't it, Rocky?
No.
That makes you 55.
I would have been a teenager. It was definitely a teenager. The reason...
Oh, you're minusing some years off now, are you, John?
No, the reason it was emotional for me is because I had it wasn't a friend of mine, it was a friend of my brother's who was a boxer who had had a terrible accident.
You think this... Do you honestly think... Do you honestly believe that you could come on this show... You should have been the age of 6, but actually you said you were 20-odd, and in the panic you have the audacity to pretend you know about some inflicted boxer to try and wing us round and go, oh, this is terrible news, of course we believe you, John. What happened to him?
It's a lie.
It's a blatant lie, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're saying it's a lie.
The biggest lie we've ever had on this show.
John Bishop, is it true or is it a lie?
It's a lie.
It's not true, what John's been telling us, but I remember as a teenager being advised not to watch Bambi without a box of tissues handy. You can imagine my disappointment. Because I didn't cry. Next. Oh, me, right?
Oh.
I used to put on a different voice on the telephone and pretend to be my own agent.
Let's have it, then.
The voice?
Imagine I've just rung up. Hello, I'm the people that want to book Rob Brydon. Yes. How much would he cost?
His name, I used to call him Richard Knight. And Richard used to talk like this, and he'd say, listen, love to help you out, but at that price, we're really not going to make much movement. And I once did a charity gig, and...
It's a lie. He's never done charity gigs.
got money for it. Because Richard said, listen, Rob's an angel, and if he knew I was doing this, he'd never forgive me, but I've got to get a bit of money, otherwise I wouldn't be doing my job.
Did you have a real agent at the time?
No.
So, how many phone numbers... Do you have a separate phone number for your fake agent? Or was it just your normal phone?
I used to work at the BBC in Cardiff. I was on the radio, I used to be a DJ, and if they got through to the office, I would then phone back under the guise.
When it came to important meetings, did you have to, like, take a disguise and sit there and go, well, Rob's in the toilet at the moment, but when he gets back, I'm sure he can discuss with him. I'll go and get him now. I believe my agent said I could do it. I do all the voices. Ask me what it would be like if I was talking to Ronnie Corbett. Or Tom Jones, I can do it. You don't believe me? Ask my agent. I'll go and get him.
I assume you've got an agent now, so why did you decide to...
Well, I didn't have one. Yeah, I have one now, but I didn't have one then.
What convinced you needed one? Was it working?
Because it's very difficult to do your own negotiations and not come across as an horrible person when you're asking for money. But if it was Richard Knight saying, listen, I'm just doing this, Rob doesn't want money, but I've got to get money for the guy.
But they didn't know it was you.
That's my whole point, you idiot. That's what I'm saying.
Did you have anybody else on your books?
What's the sort of work that...
Hosting things. This was back in about the late 80s when I was a local radio disc jockey.
So did the agent take a cut?
Did the agent phone you to let you know they got the job?
No, I was the agent!
Did you ever fall out with your agent?
No, it was me!
When you decided that this charade had to finish, did you take yourself out to dinner and tell yourself you were letting yourself go?
Did you sign a contract?
Are you still in touch?
Right, it's time to guess. First of all, Lee and those bastards. What are you going to go for?
I would say true.
You think it's true?
You're saying it's true?
Yes, in the words of Rob Brydon, I think that's true.
Right, saying it's true. David and these arses. What do you say?
That is so true.
I think
it's true?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Keely
it's
thinks
true.
it's true. David,
Nailed
well,
it.
let me buck the trend by telling you it's true. Next It's Jack.
Right. Possession.
OK, reach under the desk and take out the box underneath the desk there. So if you just pop the possession...
This is the fez that I put on to propose to my wife.
Let's see the fez then, please, Jack, if you could just take that up. So there's the fez.
There's the fez.
OK, David.
OK, why?
Well, we were on holiday.
Yeah, I think you should put it on, Jack, so we can all get an idea of the romance of the moment.
You're on holiday in Cooper World.
We were on holiday, and there was a hat like this in the bar, and I don't know why it had all sorts of knickknacks in the bar. And this is the look I went for to propose to her because it seemed like a fun way of breaking some very bad news.
What were you doing it for? Was it because you were trying to be different from your stage persona, or were you...
you know, there was no... When you do a thing like that, there's no rhyme or reason to it, is there? You just think it's a bit of fun, and then you didn't know that 20 years later you'd be interrogated about it by a group of people who don't care, you know, about you at all.
Where were you actually... What sort of situation, what location were you at when you put the hat on?
We were having drinks after dinner.
Well, just imagine for a moment, then, that I'm your now wife.
I would much rather not.
This is the game, and I'm sat there, I'm having a lovely time. I've landed on my feet with Jack. I mean, I could have gone out with all sorts of people, but I went for Jack, and he's a hell of a guy. And then out of the blue, you say this.
Would you marry me?
Well, just like that?
Yes.
Really? As simple as that?
Yes.
Did you really say just like that?
Yeah, I did, without any irony, I know, yeah. Incredible.
That wasn't even an ounce of a joke, could you
OK, what are you going to say, David? Is he telling the truth?
I think it's a lie. I don't think he looks comfortable in a fez.
And you think it's a lie?
Yeah, who does?
What are you going to say?
I think you're right, so I think it's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie? OK, Jack, is it the truth or is it a lie?
I'll have you know, it was a lie.
Next. It's Lee.
Every year, I mark the anniversary of the death of my goldfish by pouring a shot of brandy into my pond.
Did this tradition predate the death of your goldfish?
No.
No.
That was not the cause of the death.
Were there other fish that survived?
Yeah. I've got a pond in the garden.
Yes.
The pond has nothing to do with the death of the goldfish.
But how many fish were in the pond? Just one?
I'm not going to say this again, Bernard.
Was the goldfish in the pond when it died?
No.
Sorry, a goldfish was not a pond goldfish, it was a bowl goldfish, was it? Or a tank goldfish?
It was a tree goldfish, actually.
Where did he live?
The goldfish lived in a bowl. The goldfish bowl.
If the goldfish lived in a bowl...
Correct!
Why do you commemorate its death? Why? By pouring brandy into an alternative goldfish habitat?
Because when the goldfish died, the bowl went.
Do any fish live in the pond?
Are there currently any fish in the pond? Because if you pour brandy into a pond...
They're going to die as well.
They're going to die as well. So it's a legitimate question.
There was at no point, right, did the original fish die due to brandy being poured into...
But now...
There's fish in the pond,
right?
But the amount of brandy that I pour into the pond is like the weakest cordial you could ever drink.
Fish, Lee? Fish are drinking all the time.
Yes.
Not brandy!
Not alcohol.
Brandy if it's in the bloody water?
Yes, but it's then not brandy, is it? Brandy is...
Well, it's brandy and water!
No, it's not.
It's a weak brandy and water.
No. Brandy diluted is no longer brandy.
So you're saying when you put soda in brandy, you'll make it no longer brandy?
Soda in brandy? You put soda in brandy,
Brandy and soda, yes.
What kind of 1970s porn world are you living in?
Just one last question. Why do you commemorate the death of a goldfish?
Right.
It doesn't matter, the death of a goldfish.
Oh, it
Not
doesn't
many
matter to
people
you,
care.
you bitch.
No, it doesn't matter. Absolutely doesn't matter to me, but I suspect it doesn't matter to you either.
Oh, and it does matter to me, but it matters to the wife. The wife loved that goldfish like a husband.
And so she said, do me a favour, my beloved husband, show your respect for this fish I so loved by annually pouring a shot of brandy into the pond of these other fish who I secretly hate and wish to destroy.
So with that in mind, David, what are you going to say?
Bernard.
He's a liar.
Patrick?
It's true.
No, it's not. He's a liar.
You're saying it's a lie?
Yes.
OK, Lee, is it true what you've just told us, or is it a lie?
It's absolutely a lie.
We've done the whole show, and I didn't ask you, Peter, to do your Terry Wogan impression. I feel bad.
Now, Rob, you know I don't do a Terry Wogan. Come now, sir. Well, if I'm going to do my Terry Wogan, surely you could do your Ken Bruce. We've never done this before, have we?
Well, thanks, Terry, and it's me, Ken Bruce, now in the morning, and it's playing Beverly Craven and Woman to Woman.
Oh, Ken, nobody cares.
He's right, you know. And, you might be interested to know that later on this month, Terry and I will be at the Arndale Centre in Manchester for children in need, and you can strap on a black rhino annihilator dildo and make my eyes water for charity. If only he'd studied harder, Lee could have pursued a career as an academic. Ah, well, academia's loss is comedy's loss. You see...
Did you say academia?
Yeah, I did. I know.
I love those academia nuts. If you eat enough, you get an MA.
Harry, it's a very difficult job, this. You see, Lee didn't fit into traditional academic categories.
Isn't working out with you not being able to read, is it?
You say true, you say lie.
I said lie.
It is actually true. No, I've got to press the button. Sorry, I've got to press the button. I'll do it again. Can you react the same way? I forgot to press the button. You say true, you say lie.
True, actually. We think true. You can't press the button, I'm going to get points out of it. I can press the button. I may not be able to spot a truth from a lie, but the button I've got.
You say true.
No, we're changing it to lie.
Here we go, right. You say true.
No.
You say lie. These people want to go home.
Yes.
So does Ronnie, yeah.
God,
well, he thinks he's recorded a whole series tonight.
How long is the show when it goes out?
10 minutes.